5 in a row for the Houston Texans. Do they have to make it 9 in a row heading into the playoffs? And before you get to 9, you got to get to 6. How likely is it that they get to 6? We'll talk about all that and so much more here on the show today. Welcome to the channel. I'm Cody Stoots. Let's talk some Texans. Talk about the Texans Cardinals game this Sunday. The checkmark game is here. It's Friday. You know we're playing the checkmark game. We'll compare the two teams and see where the check marks go in this matchup, and we might have potentially an all-time low check mark performance by the opponent for the Houston Texans. I want to talk a little bit about the offense, the landscape of the AFC. Who are the rooting interests this week as you kind of let the eyes wander onto other people's paper and so on and so forth. Plus, your comments, questions, joys, and concerns live after the fact. Of course, we're in the comment section for you as well. The caffeine du jour, the faithful cherry limeade rise energy drink. It is oh so good. Enjoy your caffeine however you enjoy it today. Trusty and reliable after that old sour green apple yesterday. But let's talk about that AFC landscape and where the Texans sit right now and how necessary it is to get to that 9 straight. The Texans have won 5 straight, and they've done an excellent job in that 5 straight section of the schedule that they have pulled off here. 5 straight wins at any point from any team is impressive. It's hard to win in the National Football League. I sound like Bill O'Brien when I say that, but it's true. It's certainly hard to win 5 in a row. When you factor in that 3 of those were with your backup quarterback, it's even more impressive what the Houston Texans are doing. They haven't lost since the Denver Broncos beat them, and that's a game that many of us believe, myself included, they would have defeated the Denver Broncos if C.J. Stroud had been able to finish that football game. Now they've won 5 straight, and the next couple of opponents, and really the next 4 opponents overall, are not the most impressive opponents for the Houston Texans. They play the Arizona Cardinals this weekend, the Las Vegas Raiders the weekend after that. Then they have a Saturday matchup with the LA Chargers in LA, and they finish up with a game against the Indianapolis Colts, who by then could be starting, 60-something-year-old quarterback Dan Marino. Who knows what they're going to do at quarterback before their season ends. It seems like they are ready to start 44-year-old Phillip Rivers, who hasn't played football since the COVID year of 2020. But the Texans' opponents, not that nasty here down the stretch. And you take a look at the AFC playoff picture, and the 1 seed, the 2 seed, it feels very out of reach because the opponents that you would need to lose play guys that are ahead of you in the standings. For instance, if New England fell out of favor, the Buffalo Bills would move up likely. If the Broncos lost, it would likely mean positives for the Jacksonville Jaguars. It just doesn't show that the Texans have a great chance to get to the 1 or the 2. That 0-3 start and some of the hiccups they suffered in the first half of the schedule makes it a little tough. But the 3 seed, the 4 seed, the 5 seed, the 6 seed, and certainly where they are right now, the 7th seed, all very much in play. Do you have to get to 9 straight wins to go where you want to go, though? Yes and no. You're going to make the playoffs if you go 3-1 down the stretch. If you lose to the Chargers, but you beat the Cardinals, Raiders, and Colts, you'll go 3-1, and you'll find yourself in the playoffs. More than likely, you'll find yourself in the 7th seed, but the 6th seed is a possibility. But more than likely, you'll find yourself in that 7th seed right there where the Texans are right now. You beat the Indianapolis Colts, you keep them out. The Baltimore Ravens and Kansas City Chiefs, they've got to make up ground, and you own tiebreakers over both of those teams. But you look at the schedule coming up, and you look at the opponents that the Texans are playing here in the next few weeks, you could be getting some help, not only in the next few weeks, but even this week. Okay, the New England Patriots play the Buffalo Bills. So number 2 plays number 6. And if the Patriots stay on course and beat the Buffalo Bills, the Texans win their matchup. They move up a little bit. The Los Angeles Chargers still kind of reeling from a beat-up Justin Herbert performance on Monday Night Football. They play the Kansas City Chiefs. And I know the Chiefs haven't looked impressive. And I know the Chiefs just lost to the Texans. And I know the Chiefs are not the Chiefs of recent years, but the Kansas City Chiefs are still a good football team, and the Chargers got to go to Kansas City. It's not easy to do. The Texans have more success recently than the Chargers do. I know what the record says, but the Texans are playing better football than the Chargers right now. It's going to be tough for the Chargers to go to Kansas City. Hey, maybe KC helps you out a little bit. And then you can play the tiebreaker game, conference, and so on and so forth. You likely would be ahead of the Chargers. So get some help out there. The Miami Dolphins, who are still hanging around in that playoff situation, they can help you out by beating up on the Steelers, which makes it even more likely that should you win the division, you get that 3 seed. So there's a lot to look at, but you don't have to win 9 straight to make the playoffs. You don't have to win 9 straight to go where you want to go. It just would be pretty darn nice to have 9 straight under your belt heading into the playoffs. And then you would just need to make it, at that point, 13 straight to win the grand prize of them all for the Super Bowl. You'd have to win the wild card. You have to win the division. You have to win the AFC Championship. You have to win the Super Bowl. So, hey, if the Texans don't lose again until February, we're all having a parade and it's a blast. But if they do lose sometime in December, it's not the end of the world. And there are certainly things within the final stretch here of this season that you would like to see from the Houston Texans, and mostly it is over on the offensive side of the football. You'd love to see them settle in, get comfortable over on offense, and showcase something that is consistent and impressive from this offense heading into what should be a very fun and very wide open AFC playoff picture. We'll talk a little bit about that offense here in just a moment. Here from Nick Caley right after I tell you about my friends at Sleeper Daily Fantasy. You make a couple of statistical predictions, you put them together, you put an entry together, and you multiply your money when you win. You use the code Stoots, STOOTS, when you get signed up, and you find yourself with a $20, no deposit required, free entry, and that deposit match up to $100. Terms and conditions do apply. Check out Sleeper's terms and conditions. This is our entry for this week here in Sleeper. We're going to use that Drake May discount, so we just need him to throw for 1 passing yard. We're going to go to passing yards. CJ Stroud having a big day against the Arizona Cardinals. They're not the most impressive crew. They're not the most impressive group. And I don't know the Texans are keeping Trey McBride out of the end zone. They've done good jobs overall versus tight ends, but those tight ends have still found the end zone. George Kittle scored a touchdown against them, and Tyler Warren scored a touchdown against them. Travis Kelce, he did not, but the touchdown for Trey McBride, one of the best tight ends in football and one of the best pass catchers in all of football. It's a somewhat likely scenario, I would say. May, McBride, and Stroud, more on all 3 of those, and you could find yourself turning 5 into 35. Do my math right on that? Yeah, 5 into 35 on that. So Sleeper, STOOTS. When you get signed up, there's a link in the description down below. So there's things you definitely want to see from the Texans here in this final month. The home stretch of the regular season continues, and primarily the issues for the Texans and what you want to see is centered around the offense. The offense has got to be more consistent. They've got to be better than what they have shown for most of this year. And if they are, well, then you're a true blue contender in the AFC, and maybe you're thinking about San Francisco in February, finding yourself with a opportunity to go where no Texans team has ever gone before. Wouldn't that be nice? Well, they're going to have to get some things going on offense. Nick Caley this week asked about a variety of elements of this offense, and I thought there were some good answers. There were some, I don't know about that answers, and I thought there were some just flat out honesty about this offense. Well, let's go to the third quarter in Kansas City. One of the worst offenses, or one of the worst quarters of offense that the Texans have had all season long. If they replicate that against any opponent going forward, it's not going to be great. And Nick Caley explains what went wrong there in that third quarter against Kansas City.
Felt like in the third quarter we just couldn't really get out of our own way to start the drives. And, certainly we got to do a better job. I got to do a better job, coaches, players, everybody. But we just could never get going. I mean, the 3 and outs are, we don't want that. So starting better on first and second down, which we did not do. We did that in the first half. and we were able to move the ball and keep it going. But in the third quarter was certainly a lull. And drive starters, positive plays, fundamentals, playing with good fundamentals so we don't have any negative runs or anything like that, good pass protection, all those things really boils down to fundamentals. But getting off to the right start each drive is imperative for our success.
It is remarkable watching this offense when they fail on first or second down, just how tight it feels like it gets and how awful third down feels and how much of a challenge it feels. And certainly you combine what the Chiefs were doing with their blitzing and their impressive defense there in the third, and it created a little bit of a disaster quarter for the Houston Texans offense. And the Cardinals, this weekend's opponent, they don't possess the same level of defensive prowess that the Chiefs do. They don't possess anybody close to as good as Chris Jones is, who took over one of those drives against the Houston Texans. But they do have a little bit of gumption to them, and the Cardinals have played tough to start games and played tough early in games against teams. And if you look up and it's the second quarter and the Texans don't have a whole bunch of points or a whole bunch of yards, it's not really going to surprise me. One, because the Cardinals have started well in a handful of games, and two, the Texans have had a rough time on offense getting going. But it is pretty essential to have them get going in early downs, because when they do, the Texans look like a football team that can consistently move the football and that can consistently help out their defense. That's the big thing is Nick Caley is not just spouting and explaining something that we haven't seen. When they operate well on early downs, they are a much better and much easier offense to watch. And so when he gets stuck there in that third quarter against Kansas City and he can't figure out how to get things going on those early downs, and it just kind of builds on itself. And again, as this offense, when it does bad things, it just continues to fold into itself into a black hole of disappointment. It's very tough to watch. And if that happens in one of these games down the stretch, you could probably overcome it. If that happens in the playoffs, you're probably going home in that case. So the issues in the third quarter against Kansas City, got to get those cleaned up. Can't have a quarter like that happen anytime soon. You got to get the urgency cleaned up. D'Amico Ryans talked about it this week, the urgency of the team, pre-snap, getting the calls in, getting everybody lined up, organized, shifted. It's all got to be better. CJ Stroud talked about how it's tough, but he knows it's got to be better. Nick Caley knows the same thing.
I mean, we can't have a lack of urgency. We got to have better urgency, I would say. And I think the biggest thing is taken away from, our game. You want to clean things up. And then I think it goes to the way you practice, the way that you get in and out of the huddle, the way that you get your feet set, the way that, whether it's shifts, motion mechanics, et cetera, and just having a general overall urgency. Starting with me getting the play call in, the guys getting in the huddle, listening, being attentive, and being able to break the huddle and get our feet set. So you address it, you want to clean it up, but then it ultimately comes down, your behavior is going to be set based on how you practice it. And that's what we got to, start the week off. And, we got to get better in that regard for sure, all of us.
I can acknowledge that Kansas City is a difficult place to do some of those things. I can acknowledge that Kansas City is very loud. It was probably very cold. And there are some challenges that being at home against the Arizona Cardinals won't present that Kansas City did present. It also goes to show you that if you can, winning the division, and you need some help to do that because the Jacksonville Jaguars are ahead of you right now, but it goes to show you if you can win the division and make at least one, potentially two games go through NRG Stadium this offseason, it lends itself to being easier to do some of those things. KC's loud. You know what else is loud? Denver in the playoffs, the New England Patriots in the playoffs. Jacksonville's not going to be loud. You don't have to worry about that. But if you have to go to Pittsburgh in the 4-5 matchup, it's going to be loud in Pittsburgh. You're going to have those long play calls. It's going to be cooler in a lot of those matchups. You're going to have the opportunity for focus to be affected and challenged more so on those road games than you will at home. You don't have any super nasty environments to play in down the stretch, but it would be nice to get to the line of scrimmage with, 15 seconds left on the play clock and not have CJ Stroud do the. I'm so tired of watching quarterbacks do that. Not just CJ Stroud, but quarterbacks across football. Even at the college level, guys just doing the clap and, the give me the ball that they do for the center sometime. I understand that these play calls are important. I understand that they showcase what the other 10 guys should do verbally so that everybody knows what to do. But man, getting to the line of scrimmage and having all the motions and the adjustments and the shifts and the changes and this guy and that guy and identify the mic and so on and so forth, adjust the protection. You got to have time to do it. And it lends itself that if you're not rushing any of that and you have the time to survey it, and you get a little bit of some time to operate, that maybe everything will operate better. And maybe some of those early downs, again, this thing builds on itself. Maybe some of those early downs find a way to be a little bit better. So that's, to me, one of the big things for this offense. And D'Amico Ryans called it out as the urgency earlier this week. And maybe no more TV timeouts where you have to use a timeout after the TV timeout. Maybe no more of that. That would be nice as well. Nick Caley ultimately knows they can play clean football.
Last week was not a clean game. So to say that we're on the cusp, I mean, coming up last week, I feel like it's in us to do that. And we play clean at practice. That was the thing I think just you talked about last week. We don't see those pre-snap penalties, the illegal shifts and stuff like those didn't rear their head, and then they rear their head in the game. So you sit there and you got, okay, what's the issues? How can we rid ourselves and put an emphasis on playing cleaner, getting our feet in the ground? Let's go. Good communication, good urgency. We've shown plenty of moments where we've had clean games and clean drives and stuff, but when we haven't, you see what the negative impact is on it. And again, to move forward and be at our best, we've got to rid that from our our game.
Perhaps the toughest part about Caley being absolutely correct in some of his assessments, and as we all see it and watch it, is that this has been a long-term issue for the Houston Texans. There have been plenty of times from earlier in the season and recently where they take the play clock down too far. They're having trouble getting the play calls in and getting the play calls out, executing the plays. And just this week, CJ Stroud explained that because they've had some hiccups in communication, they have seen big plays go off the board and not be able to execute some of those big plays because of the mishaps in communicating some of these plays. And that is pretty tough to hear. If they could just communicate better, if the play calls were a little bit shorter, if everything got a little bit better, they would have had a little bit more on offense. And again, it's a totally valid conversation to have with the new offense 4 weeks in, 6 weeks in, but 14 weeks in, 15 weeks in, it's a frustrating one. And the hope that it gets cleaned up and adjusted and changed is still there for me. I still believe that CJ Stroud, this group of offensive players, and even Nick Caley to an extent can get things to be a little bit more consistent and a little bit better. Do I have high-end hope? Do I have hope that the offense is going to be what the Texans wanted it to be when they fired Bobby Slowick last year? A lot less hope for that. But can they clean some things up, and can they start with Arizona this weekend and continue it to against Las Vegas the following weekend and carry it to LA against the Chargers and then use it again in the season finale against the Colts? Certainly. And if you could build for a month, you could put a month's worth of good stuff together on offense, you'd feel pretty good heading into the playoffs here in 2025, although I guess the playoffs would start in 2026. We'll call them the 2025 playoffs, the whole, which season is it, yada, yada, yada. You get the gist. The checkmark game headed your way here in just a moment, right after I talk to you about my friends at the Y Factor. Hey, take care of your health. Get your health on track with the Y Factor. And I'm getting my health on track with the Y Factor. I went and had my blood drawn with the Y Factor last week, and I got a lot of those test results this week. And hey, there are things that I need to adjust and maximize in my health, and the Y Factor is going to help me do it, and they can help you do it as well. From annual blood work, like I just got done, to maybe maximizing your fertility. Men's fertility is just important as women's fertility when you're trying to conceive naturally. Maybe you don't want to conceive anymore, and you want to get a vasectomy. How about a no scalpel vasectomy from my friends at the Y Factor? It's nice and easy. They do it right there on site off of I-10 and Campbell. Tons of parking. They help you out with insurance and finding out what your insurance will cover. And they do a great job helping you take care of your health. If you're a man over 30, you need to start thinking about urological health and making sure that you're around long enough to see this offense turn the corner, to see this Texans team hoist a Lombardi. Okay? Start thinking about your health and taking it seriously in 2026. You're going to get to New Year's. You're going to be like, hey, it's a new year. I'm going to think about my health. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to go work out. I'm going to go do this. Well, hey, the Y Factor can help you with some of that stuff inside. Hormones, testosterone, cholesterol, and so many other things. They have tons of different things to maximize men's health. So I want you to check them out, theyfactor.com. When you go and see them over there, I-10 and Campbell, tell them Cody Stoots sent you. And again, they want you to be healthy, and it's a great way to look at men's health with my friends at the Y Factor. And I'm excited to find out the various ways that I'm going to get some of these things that I want to get cleaned up with my friends at the Y Factor, and they can do the same for you. Take care of yourself so you can take care of your family, and so that we can all be hanging out when that Lombardi finally gets hoisted by the Houston Texans. Appreciate the Y Factor for being great sponsors here of the show. Your comments, questions, joys, and concerns. The checkmark game is on the way. So let's get to some of your comments, your questions, and then it will be time for the checkmark game. Start with JB Allen, the Annihilator. Change the name. Got it going on the YouTube handle, and he's got the super chat here at the start of the show. Appreciate you. JB says, I can't wait for that 24-hour stream after we win the Super Bowl. This will be our year. JB calling his shot. JB saying this is it. 13 straight, win the Super Bowl. Okay? I love that idea. I love that idea, and I'm excited about the chances that the Houston Texans do that. And look, while it is a daunting task, I am very excited for the opportunity to maybe one day stream for 24 straight hours while we talk about how great it is that the Houston Texans won the Super Bowl. And as I say a lot of times with Texas Tech football, if Texas Tech football ever won a national championship and they're in the college football playoff and they have a chance to win the national championship, you won't be able to tell me nothing. I got to imagine Texans fans will feel the same way should they ever win the Super Bowl. You won't be able to tell Texans fans nothing if they win the Super Bowl. Nothing. So appreciate you, JB. Texas Eric is in here. Ado, BG, appreciate you. Jake Eubanks, good morning. Great day to be alive. Certainly is, my friend. Woke up this morning, sun came up. May not be as hot as you need it to be outside, but you got another day to make it happen. Abrium. Yeah, Abrium is here. JB Bubblehead is here. Gage is here. Good morning, Cody. What's the drink for today's stream? The cherry limeade rise. Went with an old faithful today. Frank, I think the Chargers will fall and Texas bump up to 6. Certainly possible. Yeah, going to Kansas City is tough for them. Super Bowl, good to see you. Nick, good morning, Cody. Texans need to keep their foot on the gas. I think we'll see slight improvement in the offense by the end of the year, not just against scrubs. Hey, if they could just go, if they were 30% better on offense, I mean, I think they probably win the Super Bowl. They probably win the Super Bowl. Mr. Clutch, catch Cody live. Christmas came early. Hit the like button, chat. Support Uncle Buck. Hey, I'm your Uncle Buck. He's making those giant pancakes in the kitchen. It's a good one. Touch of Trent, good to see you. HDAV Traveler, good to see you, my friend. Stoots set me up with these picks. I'm not setting you up. Follow or fade. We haven't put together a winner in a while, but we're due. We're due. Morning from HDAV Traveler. Taylor, good to see you. Mr. Clutch, OC has to trust in CJ. In turn, CJ needs to trust his O-line. Playoffs with Jackson and Mahomes should be a cakewalk for us. I think you mean without Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. Lamar's kind of got an opportunity still to get in there. He needs a little help, and he needs to take care of his business, but a really inexplicable season from the Ravens. I know they had injuries early, but Lamar can't be that hurt, and it's very, very strange. Very strange. Mr. Clutch follows it up with the playoffs without Jackson and Mahomes. See? Literally the only guys that can beat us, Bo Mix mid, Drake May, receivers can't match with our secondary. Aaron Rodgers, only QB that makes me nervous. I'm not scared of that living statue that is Aaron Rodgers. I'm not scared of him if I'm the Texans. Got to get the ball going through the air. Can't rely on just the run from John McClain's Chains, which is still one of my favorite names of anybody in here. Beast Mode, good to see you. Steven says, Cody, do we know it's Kaylee's fault? How much of it could be CJ's inability to comprehend the playbook? There's a question about his ability coming out of college. Steven, I would say that when DeMeco Ryans earlier this week talked about the offense, everybody got it. The offensive line got it. The quarterback got it. The coordinator got it. Everybody in a part of the look. They are all party to the failure on offense. Kaylee, Stroud, the O-line, the receivers, the tight ends, the running backs, everybody. They're all party to the failure. Nobody should be isolated from the failures of the offense. I mean, CJ Stroud himself said this week, I didn't handle the pressure well enough. He talked about how tough it is to get some of the play calls in and get things in. Part of that's him. So it's not all Nick Kaylee. He just happens to be what I feel like is one of the bigger reasons. But again, it's not all him or just him. So the StreamYard costs money. They have a free option, but there are paid options, certainly. 1984 Cade. When you get to the line earlier, you can have some hard counts on the snap, and the defenses can't time all the snaps, and you can also diagnose blitzes better. Yes, thank you, Cade. Has CJ got anybody to jump off sides this year? I don't think he has. I don't think he has had anybody jump off sides this year. Maybe we see it Sunday. JB's ready for the checkmark game. Going to be Wild versus the Cards. Yeah, we're about to get to it. In fact, let's get to the round one of the checkmark game right now. The Houston Texans defense, the Arizona Cardinals offense. Let's go through it here. The Texans secondary. I put Miles Bryant back there. He starts, but they play Petrie back there a lot on the in the secondary. So, but Miles Bryant gets the go. Kalen Bullock has had some nice moments. I'm going to sneak a check mark in here for Kalen Bullock. I just feel like he's had some nice moments. He had that big hit around Petrie catching the interception that kind of set some things up. And this feels like the type of game where Bullock could really have a big, big day against the Arizona Cardinals. So he's getting a check mark. Henry To'oTo'o, Azeez Al-Shire, pretty solid linebacker performances so far. I could sneak a check mark in here for Azeez if I really wanted to. I think I'm going to wait a little bit. We're not far off from Azeez getting a check mark, but I think we're pretty close to Azeez getting a check mark. We obviously know what Derek Stingley brings to the table. Just incredible stuff from him. So he's getting 2 check marks. Danielle Hunter, I think he gets a reputation check mark, though I don't know that I'm getting him the half check mark to combine with Will Anderson. So we'll go with a check mark for Danielle Hunter. We'll go with a check mark for Will Anderson as well. I know the pressure was there, just getting home on some sacks, just a little bit more. So we'll go check mark with those guys. Hey, we're throwing up the S here. Tommy Togiai is getting a check mark. Coming off of a leading tackling performance and a sack last week against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs offense, let's throw Togiai a check mark on this one. I love what DeMeco Ryans has done with this defense, so we're going to throw him a check mark. We got 2 pieces left here on this side for the Texans. Again, this is a question mark here. If this is Kamari Lassiter, it's obviously a check mark. I can't for sure, as we sit here and talk right now, tell you that Kamari Lassiter is going to be playing on Sunday against the Arizona Cardinals. If he does, check mark. If he doesn't, no check mark. It's Tremont Smith. So right now, no check mark as it is a question mark. Jalen Petrie, a.k.a. Toad, affectionately named by Landry Locker from the locker room, he is getting a check mark as well. So you factor in what DeMeco Ryans brings, the couple of check marks here from the secondary guys. You add in 2 from Derek Stingley. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 check marks on defense for the Houston Texans. Whoo! Good luck, Arizona. Good luck on that. Flip it over to the Cardinals. Let's talk a little bit about this team. This is a backup offensive tackle. Okay, now backups have actually had some pretty decent performances against the Houston Texans this year. You think back to Tampa Bay, you think back to Kansas City last week. I know there was plenty of pressure, but I thought a guy had only been playing football for 3 years and was called up off the practice squad that week, had a pretty decent performance, all things considered. Paris Johnson, their big-time left tackle, who's in the same draft as Will Anderson and C.J. Stroud and company, he's not going to play, it doesn't look like. So that's something to pay attention to there is their left tackle. Evan Brown is a decent player. Haji Froholt turning into a starting center in the league after the Texans could barely find a way to put him on the field a couple years ago in the midst of bad offensive line play is fascinating to me. It's not a great offensive line. It's not a bad offensive line, but it's not a great offensive line. They're struggling a little bit. Their kicker's okay. He's hit some big ones, but he's missed some. Petzig, their offensive coordinator's been very, very much maligned. Bam Knight and Amari DiMarcado are their running backs. Nothing to write home about there. But let's talk about the 5 players we haven't talked about here. Michael Wilson is playing his ass off right now. He is awesome. He's been one of the most productive wide receivers in football over the past month or so, and he is playing at a very, very high level for the Cardinals right now. And he's done incredible stuff when Marvin Harrison Jr. has been out. This is a guy you have to account for. This is a guy that is going to be one of the only ways they can move the football. And so I'm giving Michael Wilson a check. Trey McBride is tied for the league lead in receptions. He's one of the best pass catchers in football. Full stop. Doesn't matter the position. One of the best pass catchers in football. They get him the ball in a bunch of different ways. He is an impressive football player. He gets 2 check marks. Now, these question marks over here for the Arizona Cardinals, I'm fascinated by what they're going to do. They have tons of guys on IR at wide receiver. If you go look at their depth chart right now, they only have a couple of guys available to them. Their backup slot receiver is hurt, hasn't practiced this week. Their other starter, opposite Michael Wilson that they've been running out there, has been hurt, hasn't practiced this week. So a couple of question marks. I have no freaking idea what these guys are going to look like, who they're going to be, and what they're going to do on Sunday. No clue. No clue. That leads us to Jacoby Brissett. Brissett has been a pretty nice player in the National Football League, and he's had some really nice moments. And he'll put some points up. It just always hasn't come in close game situations. I'm not quite ready to give Jacoby Brissett a check mark. The reputation and respect precedes him, and certainly D'Amico Ryans and Matt Burke had glowing things to say about the quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals. I'm not giving him a check mark, though. So the Cardinals check in with 3 check marks on offense to the 8 check marks here for the Houston Texans on defense. Yikes, Arizona. What do you guys got going on over there? Come on, get it together. All right. If you want to get 15% off the Texans online team store together, you can do it with my friends at TDECU. The Houston Texans debit card through them is a gorgeous debit card, and it is part of your checking account with all the various checking account options that they have at TDECU, savings account options. You want to bring your business account over to TDECU, you can do that as well. TDECU.org/Texans. You can find out all the information you need about TDECU. You can get signed up right there online. You just have to be a resident in the state of Texas. You don't have to be in Houston. You just have to be in the state of Texas to get signed up at TDECU, get the process started online, or 15 greater Houston area locations. Go into TDECU and get signed up less than 20 minutes. Walk in, walk out with that TDECU Texans debit card. They're a credit union, so membership's required. They're insured by the NCUA, but they can do more for you as a member at the credit union than other places where you put your money. TDECU would love to talk to you, and you will love the benefits of being a member at TDECU. So check them out. And when you find out, or when you tell them how you find out about TDECU, tell them you heard about them on SNL or Houston Football or the Locker Room or wherever. But appreciate TDECU for being sponsors of the channels this year. JB Allen the Annihilator with his member comment. Off topic, have you seen Joe Burrow's presser, and what would you believe are the chances Burrow is still a Bengal in 2026? Burrow did look a little depressed the other day. Sounded depressed. People kept saying Andrew Luck, like, oh man, it feels like Andrew Luck, he's not having fun. It's hard. Things like that. And I tend to agree with you to an extent. I believe he's a Bengal in 2026. I do not believe he's a Bengal in 2027. unless something changes there next year. So I think he's kind of laying the seeds, and I think it may take a while for that to grow. But yeah, Joe Burrow, I don't believe he finishes his career with the Bengals. And if he does finish his career with the Bengals, it might finish earlier than we all want it to. I like Joe Burrow, and I hope that he plays for a long, long time. It's unfortunate that they haven't been able to get some things together over there in Cincinnati. But it's also fun because, you don't want to face Burrow and Chase and Higgins and all that crew year in, year out. And they've done a pretty good job of just eliminating themselves. So, Ronnie, tell them it's going to be tough on the offensive play calling, aggressive for 4 quarters. I'll pass it along. Add you, Cody Stoots. Let's go. Good to see you in here. MN Productions. Would you feel more confident the Super Bowl appearance if Bobby was the OC? I mean, they might be a little bit better on offense if Bobby was the OC. I mean, certainly a possibility that they could be a little bit better on offense if Bobby was the OC. I can't for sure tell you that they would because, Bobby had his shortcomings. I will say at this point in the year, I had given up that Bobby Sloak was going to get anything going. I have not fully given up on Nick Caley, though. I know some people have. Good to see you, Leo. JB says, I wouldn't care if Tim Kelly was calling plays. Super Bowl, Super Bowl. Yeah, I'll take a Super Bowl. I don't care who the offense coordinator is. You could send Bill O'Brien a freaking ring. I don't care. They hoist for Lombardi. It'll be fun. Eros asks, how was your friends cooking last night? So I went over to a buddy's house last night, and we'll finish the checkmark game here in just a second. I went over to a buddy's house last night, and he gave me the heads up. He said, hey, come over. I'm gonna cook. I'll take care of it. I said, what do I need to bring? He's like, nah, don't bring anything. I'll take care of everything. So, all right. And then he told me, ahead of time, he's like, hey, I'll just Venmo you for whatever. And I was like, oh, I kind of thought we were doing like you come over, pay for everything, or I come over, pay for everything. You come over, pay for everything. But, whatever. Then we got there, he had the steaks out and he seasoned them up. And he used a seasoning I'd never had before. It was good. Hardcore carnivore, the black hardcore carnivore seasoning. It was good. But he did not cook his steaks the way that I cook my steaks. He was on charcoal. I like to cook on charcoal, which I'm sure is much to the chagrin of Hank Hill. Whoa. But he did not cook his steaks like I cook my steaks. He moved them a lot. Didn't, just leave them down, let them get going. But he ultimately cooked a very, very good steak. It was tasty. It was tender. He did a good job. It was at the proper temperature. And he had some nice accoutrement in addition to the steak. So he did a good job. And now I got to take it to the next level when he comes over. But he did a good job. I was a little worried watching him initially with the grill master. The backseat grill master, every guy is going to be a backseat grill master when they go to their buddy's house. Noah says, did Cal McNair get his high five? For those of you that are wondering what Noah's talking about, on the broadcast Sunday, CJ missed Cal McNair in a high five line, and the Texans did a very funny social media post about it, so I encourage you to go check that out. Mark Carter says, Nick is the biggest problem. Kaylee or Casario? Good to see a 21 Savage. JB noted that there was a Toad cartoon there on the defense. So sure. Togiai is underrated. He is a very good football player. He's a very good football player. The consistency is what they love about him. He's also very strong. I love watching Tommy Togiai play football. And yeah, it's cool that to go from a guy that was inactive earlier this year to getting the check mark after a 10-tackle performance and a sack. It's a great job by Tommy Togiai. Throwbin spoke. As for as frustrating as this season has been before the year, if someone told you we would get to 11, 12 wins and beat KC, Buffalo, and Ravens, you take that 100 times out of 100. You take it 101 times out of 99. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The Rob, I'm disappointed lack of sacks given the Chiefs had O-line injuries. Yeah, there were lots of injuries on the offensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs. The Texans brought the heat and got pressure. They just didn't get home as much as you would have thought they were going to. That's fine. That's fine. They got the win. Rest Locksmith, we need him down the stretch. I do believe this is a game where they may not push Kamari too hard to be back in this one. Mark's not happy with the Danielle Hunter contract. I mean, I get it. There's been certainly some moments where he was worth it. I mean, 7 sacks while Davis Mills started is awesome. Danielle Hunter was incredible while Davis Mills was starting. It hadn't always been consistent, though. Steven says, you got to get Brissett a check mark just because of the way he's had success in the past. He has beat the Texans with 3 different teams, the Colts, the Dolphins, and the Patriots when he first got going in his career. So, yeah, I can understand that. I can't give him a check mark right now. Halston, when we were going through the draft, the free agents have always wanted Jacoby Brissett to play for the Texans. The team would have unlocked his real potential. He would be an excellent backup for your starting quarterback too. I mean, the Texans have a good backup in Davis Mills, but Brissett's one of the best backups in football. Probably top 3 without a doubt. Certainly top 5 without an argument. Patrick made it in. Good to see you, Patrick. Do we miss out 2 years ago not signing McDaniels to be with CJ? I mean, Mike McDaniel was going to be a head coach, so he wasn't signing up to be the OC. He was on the head coach track out of San Fran, so it didn't really align there. It doesn't look like he's getting fired in Miami, so they may not have a crack at him next year. What's up, you guys? Good? Good to see you, Poncelios. See Farrell, what's up with the Survivor Pool? Yeah, Survivor Pool's over. Okay, I've been out since week 3, but it finally ended. I'll be sending an email to everybody that was in the Survivor Pool. If you beat me, you win something. We had 7 people tie. They all went out in the same week, this past week. I will send an email. That is on my to-do list. I got a giant whiteboard of to-do list stuff. The Survivor League is on my to-do list. I'll send you an email. You will win something if you beat me, and certainly if you're one of the 7 champions, you'll win something else. So I will take care of that via email very soon. Very soon. We just talked about Mike McDaniel. I don't think he's leaving Miami, and if he does, I don't know that he's for sure coming to Houston. Just remember, Slowick didn't change things until injuries occurred. Didn't matter how obvious it was to try something else. Yeah, Bobby had a tough second year. Taste the meat, not the heat, but Bobby Hill taught Hank charcoal isn't bad to grill with. I do love that King of the Hill show. I haven't watched all the new stuff yet, but I freaking love King of the Hill. Casario shouldn't have listened to Cody about Kaylee. Yeah, I mean, they were hiring him regardless if I liked him or not. So, I liked Nick Kaylee. I thought he's going to have more Rams than Patriots. He's got more Patriots than Rams. Sue me. All right, a couple things. Checkmark game is going to continue here in just a moment. I want to make sure that I get everybody to know that Spanky's today, toy drive benefiting Bear Houston. You bring a new and unwrapped toy, you get a raffle ticket. Every toy gets a raffle ticket. Okay, so you bring 100 toys, I'll give you 100 raffle tickets. You bring one toy, I'll give you 1 raffle ticket. We got some cool stuff. We got gift cards to give away. I got some football cards to give away. I got some other fun things that you're going to want to win in this raffle. And all you got to do is bring a new and unwrapped toy. Benefits Be a Resource Houston, which helps out kids, at-risk youth who've had some tough childhood and they're on the right track, or children in CPS. Be a Resource Houston. It's a toy drive every year here in Houston. They do a great job of getting toys out to underprivileged children and children who've had rough times and rough years. And so great organization that we're supporting. You bring a new and unwrapped toy to Spanky's this afternoon, you're going to get a raffle ticket and you can win some fantastic stuff here at the raffle. So appreciate everybody for supporting us coming out to Spanky's. And if you could support the kids with a new and unwrapped toy today, then that would be great as well. And perhaps you will benefit as well. So there's that. And want to remind you, speaking of things that were given away, that the One Stop Card Shop card giveaway this week, Still going. Okay. You got to go. This Facebook post is in the description down below. You got to go like and comment on the post. Okay. Like and comment the post. We'll draw a winner from the folks here in the comment section, and you're going to win yourself a gorgeous CJ Stroud rookie card that is just, man, this thing looks awesome. Okay. The Topps Chrome Black numbered CJ Stroud rookie card. So we'll get 2 winners. Somebody's going to win this one, and then somebody's going to win some other Texans cards from my collection, and maybe an unopened pack, something like that. So doing some great giveaways to my friends at One Stop Card Shop over there in Bel Air. One Stop Card Shop, TX is the Facebook. Go to this post. Okay, go to this post and comment. You just put any comment. Your favorite football player, your favorite Pokemon card, your favorite football, basketball, baseball card. Tell them Cody Stoots sent you, whatever you want to say. But you got some fantastic stuff from One Stop Card Shop, and you're going to win that CJ Stroud rookie card if I pick you. I'll alert the winner this weekend. We will draw this weekend. You got a couple of days to get in there, but go comment on this Facebook post, and you'll have a chance to win that CJ Stroud rookie card. Isn't that a great looking rookie card? You're not just getting this, you're getting some other cards too. So be good. Couple of comments. Get to the rest of the checkmark game. Then we'll crack it back. Jay Clark, is there any update on Chubb? Also, any chance Mixon comes back for the playoffs? Probably a ridiculous question, but I have to ask. Chubb's got a rib injury. I wouldn't anticipate him playing this weekend. So that stinks. And you're probably going to have Dare Ogunbowale as the backup behind Woody Marks. But Woody sounded like he was good to go when Landry and I talked to him in the locker room yesterday. Any chance Mixon comes back for the playoffs? I would think no. I don't think Joe Mixon's playing for the Texans again. That's what I would say about that. Blake was one of the winners last week. He was one of the winners last week of the cards last week, so he got some stuff in the mail, and it's headed his way, and I think it should be there pretty soon, Blake. I finally figured out how to ship things without paying an arm and a leg for even the smallest thing, so I appreciate Blake for following along and being one of our winners last week, so appreciate that. BG, man, very generous from you. Thank you so much. I'll make sure the kiddos get some fantastic toys out of this. I'll probably put some board games, some action figures, and so on and so forth in there. But, man, thank you so much. I got to make sure I write this down. But very generous from you, BG. Can't make it to Spanky's today, but he wants to donate for some toys for the kids. So thank you so much, my friend. Very generous. Very generous. Greatly appreciated. The kids will benefit from that as well. Let's finish up the checkmark game. Let's crack a pack of cards and head over to Texans and see what they bring to the table for today. The checkmark game here. Let me make sure I got my thing. Yeah, there we go. I got it going. All right, the checkmark game here. Cardinals defense. Carrying over the 3 from them, the 8 from the defense here. Cardinals defense, boy, what a stinky defense. What just an absolutely stinky, no good, very bad defense right now. They got guys that are hurt. I don't even know if Max Melton's going to play. He popped up on the injury report yesterday. They have some very unimpressive pass rushers on the edge. Will Johnson's a rookie corner. Their linebackers are very okay on a good day. And they have had some defensive performances where things have just gotten away from them. DTD was a Texas Tech guy, safety. Got a long name. They just call him DTD. I used to say DTD is TNT. But there's not a lot to like about this Arizona Cardinals defense. Budda Baker is one of the best safeties in football, and there's a lot of respect for him. So I'm going to throw a check mark to Budda Baker. Calais Campbell's still getting it done at a pretty high level. But I think it's impressive watching him play because he's old, not because he's still awesome and amazing. I know Nick Cayley said, "Oh, just watch the tape. He's awesome. He's still good. Watch the tape." And this is year 18 for Calais Campbell in the National Football League. And he's got 5.5 sacks, but he hadn't put together more than a sack in over a month. So A lot of respect for what Calais Campbell's done. 6-time All-Pro, or 6-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro. I mean, won some incredible awards, 2010, all 2010s team, and he's played for a lot of different teams and had a lot of different big moments. He's nearly 40 years old getting it done, but I'm not giving him a check mark. So 1 check mark on the defense. 1 check mark on the defense for the Cardinals to get them to 4 for them. And that might be one of the lowest performances we've ever seen in the checkmark game. The Texans, Nico Collins, fantastic last week. Nico's getting a check mark. CJ Stroud was really good in some moments last week, dealt with some of the pressure. I thought he had only a few quarterbacks can make that type of play. He's getting a check mark for what he brings to the table. I don't know if I'm going Dalton Schultz, had some blocking hiccups last week. I'd love to throw Woody a check mark. And maybe because he's gutting it out, I'm going to sneak one in there. I'm sneaking a check mark in here for Woody Marks. So I think that's going to do it for the Texans' offensive check marks. I'd love to one day throw a check mark to this offensive line. I just can't get there quite yet. Christian Kirk, no check mark for him. Nothing for Fairbairn or Cayley. Higgins, maybe a little bit more. Higgins' check mark is conditional to how many first downs he's getting and things like that. So I think I'm going with 3 check marks here for the offense to get the Texans to 11 check marks in this one. So 11 check marks for the Texans, 4 check marks here for a very bad Arizona Cardinals team. And they got a little juice. I just don't know if they got 4 quarters of juice. Yeah, so 11-4, the checkmark game finishes up here for the Arizona Cardinals and the Houston Texans. It seems pretty fair, I think. Oh, we didn't recap the checkmark game from last week. I forgot about the recaps. I need to make sure I add those into my notes for next week. Okay. A few comments here. Then we'll rip a pack and call it a day. Brissett has finished a top 12 quarterback in every single start this season. Yeah, some of that's garbage time offense, though. You put up 14 points in the fourth quarter and lose by 17. It's not that impressive. I think he's a really good football player. I just don't know that I'm ready to give him a check mark. And if you think it should be a check mark and you think it should be, you think it should be 5 check marks for them, I'm not going to argue too much with you. Minshew, Brissett, Mills, Gabbert, amazing backups. Yeah, they've had some nice backup careers. I think Minshew is the best backup in football. If it's not him, it's probably Brissett. And if it's not Brissett, Garoppolo's got an argument for it. Poncelios. Miami, a tackle. Francis, I believe it's Mauiaga. Mauiaga or Notre Dame running back Jeremiah Love. What's your pick? Just curious to know. I'd do bad things to good people to get Jeremiah Love on the Texans. He's awesome. Are these guys getting to 32? Yeah. Yeah. See what I did there? With the Texans considering hiring an OC that isn't a first-timer, I'm sure they would consider it. There was a lot of people that wanted them to hire Chip Kelly. I don't think it worked out well for Chip in the NFL this go around, but I think they'd consider it, sure. OCs either get fired because they're bad or become head coaches. The number of OCs with experience that are good and are available is very small. Certainly. It's not easy. And experience doesn't guarantee success. Are there ways to mitigate failure because you have experienced failure before? Certainly. One more time, BG, thank you. I really appreciate that, and we're going to get some great toys for the kids here at for the toy drive this afternoon. Our O-line should get some confidence building ground against that Cards front seven. Yeah, not the most impressive crew of pass rushers that they got to go against. Not the most impressive crew at all. Can San Miguel, sorry. If the offense stays about where it's at, do you want to see Kaylee back next year? No, I do not. Spank Boy number 2. Spank Boy's unapproved nickname, by the way. Unapproved nickname. Okay. You know it is approved? Texans Turf. I do approve of Texans Turf. Been in Landry's backyard. That Texans Turf is fantastic. And if I had a big old backyard, I think I'd put down Texans Turf myself. TexansTurf.com. You can see all of the work that they have done in that fantastic portfolio. You can schedule that free estimate for your yard, from play areas to putting greens to just replacing that grass that is hard to manage, that grass that takes up your Saturday and Sunday mornings, getting it ready for the week, that really only you only you put in the time and effort, but everybody else, why? Too much. Put down the turf. It's always green. It's always clean. You increase your home's value. You get your Saturday and Sunday mornings back. You're not having to labor out there in the yard, making sure that it's green and cut and all that kind of stuff. And you can finally return your neighbor's lawnmower that you don't use regularly, because you're going to have that Texans Turf, thanks to Dan the Man. TexansTurf.com. TexansTurf.com. Schedule that free estimate for your project, from rent houses to businesses to your very own backyard. Wouldn't it be great to work on the short game, walking outside in your own putting green? Texans Turf can do it for you. Check them out. When you check them out, tell them that Cody, Stoots, Landry Locker sent you. Okay. Jimmy says, I see 4 weeks getting the offense better and hopefully keep the defense off the field and healthy. I love the idea of that. Should I start CJ or Trevor? It's playoff week. I'm assuming you mean Trevor Lawrence. That's the Jets. CJ. I would start Trevor Lawrence. I'm starting Trevor Lawrence this week in my playoffs instead of Justin Herbert. He's playing the Jets. He's been throwing a lot. Even when they've been up, they've still been throwing the football. So I would start Trevor Lawrence over CJ. I no way, shape, or form believe Trevor Lawrence is a better football player. But could he put up more fantasy points than CJ? Certainly. JB Allen, I heard Chip Kelly's calling plays weren't in the Raiders playbook. What's up with that? That whole Chip thing was weird. I think he signed up for something and then got something else. So I think that was a weird situation for him. But I think the Raiders situation was a disaster. You should do a game of people to watch and then compare the week after. See how you did after that. We did do a recap of the checkmark game last week, and I forgot to do it this week, but we'll do a recap next week of the checkmark game. And that kind of works that way. Okay. Get some housekeeping done. Spanky's this afternoon. Arrive at 3, live at 4, bring a toy, get a raffle ticket. Okay, Spanky's this afternoon. So that one will be fun. The Facebook post from my friends at One Stop Card Shop. Go like it in the comment section down below. Go comment on it. You'll have an opportunity to win yourself a CJ Stroud rookie card. This very rookie card, in fact. Look at that. Pretty nice, isn't it? Real nice, actually. I'll mail it right to you, right to your house. So check that out. All right, we do this on Fridays sometimes. Let's open a little pack of cards here and see what we come up with. So it's the Don Russ Christmas tin. You can get these anywhere from $10 to $20. I got this one at Best Buy because they were just hanging out at Best Buy, and I was like, "Ooh, football cards." I'm a cardboard guy now. I love cardboard. It's part gambling, part art, But let's crack open this little Don Russ tin, see if we got anything fun in here. This is a nice little stocking stuffer if you got a card fiend in your life. It's a nice stocking stuffer. It comes in a nice little tin. You get 3 packs of 5 cards, I think. So let's see if we can find ourselves something crazy on this one. Okay, let's open up this little. See the little tin comes in? It's kind of nice. You get the holiday cards in here. They got some cool looking holiday cards that come out of this. And again, 3 packs. I think it's 5 cards per pack. So let's get to ripping. Get our first pack here. See if we come up with something. Remember, again, ahead of the Colts game, we pulled an old Daniel Jones card. okay, which then he played Giants Daniel Jones football. We played a CJ card, and CJ played pretty well. And we also pulled a Christian Kirk card, and he didn't make a play in that game. So the cards sometimes speak to us. Maybe we'll pull a Woody Marks or something. A.J. Brown, a Jack Sawyer rookie card. Ooh, the Michael Williams rated rookie throwback. I love the look of these throwback cards. Michael Williams has not been very good, but a press-proof Blake Corum and a Kendre Miller from the Saints. Hopefully we'll pull a Texan here in these little card packs. I'm awful at opening them because I'm always too careful. I don't want to mess the cards up. But these Don Russ packs, you got to be a freaking Superman to pull them open. Oh, come on. Don't make me get the scissors out. Don't make me get the scissors out. All right, so let's see here. Oh, an Aaron Rodgers Jets. That's no good. What we got? Jaden Blue, rated rookie. That was a nice card. You're a Cowboys fan. Ooh, look at this Mike Allstott card on the canvas, the Gridiron Kings. Look at that. That's a beauty. That is a gorgeous card. Look at Mike Allstott here. Try to get that. How do I love that card. That's a nice card. That's going in the collection. Scary Terry and Packers tight end Luke Musgrave. That Allstott card is freaking sick. I love that. Throwback player. They don't make guys like that anymore. And I think Scatabo is probably the closest thing we've got to him. The way that Scatabo runs and just tries to run through people and not even worry about juking them or going around them. So, ew, Will Levis. That's gross. A Chuba Hubbard Dominators. That's a nice card. Deontay Thornton, rated rookie. I thought he was going to be much better for the Raiders. A Michael Pittman on the Colts. Hey, maybe the Colts will nah. And then a press-proof Luke Musgrave. So 2 Luke Musgrave cards. How about that? All right, so the Holiday 10 gave us the sweet Mike Allstott card and not much else. But that's cards for you. I do like some of these throwback cards, and I will put them in the stack of cards to add to giveaways. But there you go. I love that Mike Allstott card. That's a fun card to pull. Okay, Spankies this afternoon. SNL Live at 4 o'clock. If you can't make it to Spankies, it'll be right here on YouTube, so you can still watch the show. Check out all our fantastic sponsors. Appreciate everybody for supporting the show. And we'll get you a 10:30 or so practice update. That's when the Texans will let us in, and we'll find out if Kamari Lassiter's on the field. And if he's not, and if he is, maybe he goes on Sunday. But we'll have a lot of stuff for you here on the show this afternoon at Spankies, live from Spankies in Sharpstown on Bel Air. So don't miss out on that very fun. Oh, man, beast mode. Thank you so much. Please add this to the donations for the toys. Love the work you guys do. Thank you. I will make sure that I'll make sure the kids get some toys out of this, and we'll buy some stuff between you and BG. We've got some very generous donations for the toy drive. So certainly appreciate you and BG and everybody else who supports the channel and supports these fun endeavors where we get to give back as well. So thank you so much, Beast Mode. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Okay, we end the live stream the same way each and every time. It's my hope for you. It's my charge for you as well. I want you to eat good. I want you to sleep good. I want you to be good. We'll talk Texans again soon. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hip-hoppity, dip-doppity-doo.